know this case is pretty much over and wrapped up, but the timeline is still kind of jacked up for a lot of people, including myself. I have been saving stuff from this case since like day one. And as most of you know, I've really been following this case. I'm still getting questions, and I'm still seeing questions out there, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about certain things. Now, that is why I'm just going to start right here, and I'm going to try my best to keep this video in order, but I have so much stuff to say that I've been sitting here for like 2 days wondering how I was going to put this video together to try to answer some questions, and just to be quite honest, I have no answer. Like, it's everywhere. So we're just going to start here with the motel, and I'm going to be talking backwards and forwards and everything else, so I hope you can keep up. So we know this is like 5:41 a.m. on Friday, April the 29th, and she's going into the lobby of the motel, and it's pretty early. I mean, we're talking 20 minutes till 6, and this motel isn't very far from where she goes to work. So depending, I don't know, maybe she works 7 to 3, or I don't know, but that she's up awfully early this morning. We know that. And what she's doing here, looking over the desk, is really just anybody's guess. Who knows? Who knows what she's doing here? This is the whole, 15 seconds of the video. People said she looked a whole lot older in real life. I don't think so. To me, she looks exactly the same here as she does in all the videos or all the photos that we... And of course, we know this is roughly about 4 hours later. 9:29, and then at 5:41 she was leaving to go to work. Now, we also know that she did have the orange Ford Edge at the motel. She had it there, and she'd been staying at the motel for a few days before she did this. Now, the Ford Edge she bought with an alias. We know that. And we also know that she bought the Ford Edge like 3 days before this happened. I think it was the 26th that I know it was the 26th that she bought the Ford Edge from a used car lot, and she gave, I believe it was $8,500 for this vehicle. The $1 million question is, why did they get it and ditch it so quickly? Well, I think I have a possibility as to why she did this. So seeing as she bought this car on April the 26th, and she had left it there in that parking lot very close to the motel that she had been staying at. Of course, Casey had not actually seen the vehicle, right? I'm sure she told him about it, although they did do a quote-unquote dry run a few days before. Maybe that's what she did. Maybe she took him and said, this is the vehicle, and this is where it's going to be parked, and this is the motel I'm staying in. Who knows what they did on that dry run. In the beginning, Sheriff Singleton was denying that dry run happened, but now it has been confirmed, and he has admitted that, yes, it did happen. So... But my thoughts about this vehicle is possibly, I think Vicky probably liked it. I liked the vehicle. My son had a Ford Edge almost exactly like this, a little bit newer, but I did like the vehicle. You see the back glass, they're tinted, and I think she liked the vehicle. However, I believe when she got Casey to it, he's like, we got to do something, man. This vehicle's going to be easily spotted. I mean, he's a criminal, and he thinks criminal-minded. Which you would think she would as well, with her being a correction officer. She's going to know they're going to be looking for something different. Well, if you Google this certain vehicle, and you Google the color of it, which is this orange coppery looking color, well, there's less than 1% made. If you're going to get a getaway vehicle, you want some of the basic colors: black, white, blue, red, something like that. You don't want something that's going to stand out like a sore thumb. And I believe that's what Casey said. I believe when he seen this vehicle, he was like, we can't do this. I mean, we're going to have to get something different. This is going to stick out like a sore thumb. That is why I believe they got rid of it. The vehicle did not break down. A lot of people thinks it did, and that I know that's still going around out there, that the vehicle broke down and they ditched it and they walked up the road. That is not the case. Also, I think this was Casey, because he knew that there was damage back there, right? And Casey, he's watching his ass, he's He knows that that damage, this color vehicle, I mean, that's all anybody's going to be looking for, right? So he's trying to camouflage it here. Why the green? I believe why the green is the green would camouflage where the broken area is in the vehicle better than like white would. White would make this, really stand out. So while they were in this vehicle, they were taking back roads. Like, I know you have seen where the vehicle was found. It was like in the very much back roads, north on back roads. It wasn't no interstate driving, not in this car. They were on back roads. And they were going to ditch it, period. He said, we got to get rid of this. We got to get something else. This is too obvious. This is too obvious. A lot of people saying, oh, well, all she bought was a bunch of beaters. See, I don't see it that way. I see this being a pretty decent car. I mean, sorry. I'm not high maintenance, I guess, but I see this being a decent, used car, and I think she felt the same way. But Casey's like, no, this color, this damage, this ain't going to work. So anyway, I think they're going down these random back roads, and they pass this house that has some vehicles for sale outside. And Casey says, I want that truck. It's dark and the color of it's everything. So that's what they did. But here's the kicker. These two absolutely never, I don't know how they lasted out there for 11 days, really. They can say they had this big calculated, well-planned. No, they didn't. Like, I don't even know how they managed to stay not seen for 11 days. They've done everything that they weren't conspicuous at all. Now, in case you're not aware, let me show you the facts behind the way this vehicle was purchased. Actually, before I do that, let's do this. Okay, we know Vicky was staying at the motel, and we know she had this vehicle like in the parking lot close to the motel, right? So this was her vehicle. She had to get to work that morning, right? She really didn't want to drive this vehicle to her work. So she done something that I think Casey told her, oh my God, we really can't keep this vehicle now. Because when she left the motel that morning, here is how she got to work. One of her fellow jail workers, this tip came in early, but of course it was not released to the public until just recently. But she called one of the fellow jail workers and asked them to come and pick her up at Academy Sports and Outdoors, which is the parking lot where she had this Ford Edge setting. And Vicky told them that she had locked her car keys in the car and she was needing a ride to work. Now, the employee did think this was strange, but he wanted to help her out, so he went and picked her up. So obviously he saw her vehicle. He saw that orange Ford Edge, right? And Casey was like, oh my God, could you not have got a cab? I can just hear it, But when she told Casey how she got to work that morning, he probably freaked out. Like, we've got to get rid of this vehicle. That's why I think it was. Now, let's get back to the truck and how it actually came to be. There was no, this Ford Edge broke down on the side of the road and they walked till they seen a car lot, because I know that's what was said in the beginning, but that is not what happened. Okay, law enforcement said that they were scouring Tennessee looking for clues, and investigators found a home with a few cars and trucks for sale on their lawn. It's like one of those homes that, use cars for sale outside. So they asked the homeowner, and the homeowner instantly recognized a photo of Casey. And he told the investigators that he sold White a Ford F-150 pickup truck for cash. Know now that it was, they paid $6,000 for the truck. And he said that the truck did not have any license plate, but Casey did not care. This is what the one that sold it to him told authorities. And he says, yeah, I sold him the truck. And so we learned that he sold him a truck the same day that they escaped from the Lauderdale County Correctional Facility. And it was just a few hours after they escaped. He also said during the sale, a woman in an orange Ford pulled up and the two drove off trailing one another. He also gave authorities the pickup truck's vehicle identification number, the VIN numbers. After they got the truck, then is when they went and abandoned the Ford Edge, and then they started towards Evansville, Indiana in the truck. Now here on May the 3rd, you can very well see, and I'll also show some more of this video of the car wash, and even when Vicky's picking him up. But anyway, as you can see right here, this truck does have license plate, and it is Tennessee license plates. Where these came from, I don't know, because the guy that sold him this truck said that it didn't have license plate. This definitely is not the license plate that came with this truck. I don't know where they took this tag. Now, when we look at the cam footage from the officer, when they finally came out and looked at this truck after the car wash got called, you can hear him say in the footage, it's coming back to a Dodge pickup. But he says it's not stolen, so there's nothing he can do. Well, automatically, red flags are telling you right there, this is a Tennessee license plate that's coming back to a Dodge vehicle. So that's automatically something's not right there. You know, even if the VIN number is not coming back as stolen, something's very off here when this is Indiana. And by this time, like everyone knew, like literally everyone knew that these two were missing. But I find it odd that they found no problem here. The car wash guy still has not gotten the reward, and I find that to be quite BS. But check out the footage here when the officer finds or comes up and checks this truck out and tells the car wash guy that there's nothing he can do about it. But you can hear him. I mean, for the love of God, he finds a Glock. He even says it's a Glock. Gun lock in it. Well, everybody knows that Vicky had a Glock. I mean, that was said from day one. She had her Glock on her side. This is a Tennessee license plate. Now, for the law enforcement in Evansville to be patting themselves on the back so hard and saying that they're so awesome and their boots on the ground done this, no, they dropped the ball considerably, in my opinion. They done a lot of shady things. And in my opinion, this could have been handled differently had they have not dropped the ball so many times. But check out this footage.
Sam 130, then check. One F Frank T Tom R Robert W 12 W 86 K King C Charles 18262 press 1175. Attach that VIN to the run card. Like the plate returns to this truck. It's a Ford. Good.
Then I saw her not on file with anything.
Clear. So you got it coming back to a Dodge?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you can do. Yeah, that's looks like every other Tennessee plate I've seen. It's 22. Hey, no paperwork. The only thing that's in a little bit of trash, and there's a charger and a Glock magazine loader. That's weird. Did they attach the van?
Crash into the building?
At least we have that information.
Okay, so when they decide to ditch this vehicle, and as you see, I mean, it was just so nonchalantly done. And why would they leave it at a car wash with the keys in it and the Tennessee plates? And Casey running around out there looking like a sore thumb with his tattoos showing all over him, you know, and the way she just drove right up and picked him up, you know. It's not really known about the Cadillac where it was actually bought. Actually, when there was one that was reporting that when they called it in that the vehicle was actually stolen. But in the police reports, it says that the vehicle was bought in Casey's name. And they had an Alabama tag on the car, which is completely crazy. I mean, with the big search on for Alabama, you see the back windows are tinted. Vicky had got an Uber to take her to get these windows tinted because the Uber driver actually spoke up and He even named the place where he took her. He even talked to her about getting them tinted because he was wanting his tinted. And he even said that they needed to pull the surveillance there because they would see his vehicle and her there. Let me pull that up for you. Okay, this is the Uber driver. He said, I dropped her off and she got her windows tinted on that Cadillac that she had just bought. She even told me what the price was because I was wanting my windows potentially tinted in the future as a cab driver. And he goes on to explain why he wanted his tinted. Someone asked her what was she wearing, or did she have on a wig, or could he remember? And he says he don't, but he does have a great recollection of the conversation that he did have with her, saying that she did get her windows tinted at Classic Shades on Burkhart, and that is where he dropped her off at. He said they need to check the cameras and they will see his vehicle is there. And then he said that that was on May the 6th, and at that time it was last Friday. He says that she was in his cab from 4:15 until around 4:30. He said it's very weird. She did seem a little off, but he did not realize that she was wanted. She had it on May the 3rd. So when she picked him up this day, the windows in it was not tinted. She got them tinted on May the 6th, 3 days after they ditched this truck. And for whatever reasons, they put this Limestone County, Alabama tag on that Cadillac. Now, even though Sheriff Singleton denied this originally, it did happen. They left the Lauderdale County Jail for 40 minutes, just a few days before the 29th. I mean, she was doing a lot of shady stuff, like within the last few weeks. Like, we know she had sold her house for far below market value. And then she had bought a car with an alias. She also went out and bought AR-15s, another shotgun that added to her 9mm service weapon. She also bought a .45 caliber pistol. She went to Kohl's. She was shopping in the men's big and tall department. And then she went to that sex store. We know they paid a homeless man to rent him a motel room for 14 days, for 14 days, the Motel 41. And the thing about this guy, in case some of you haven't heard yet, is this guy was tracked down. He was actually incarcerated when they were caught. He was incarcerated on May the 6th. Ironically, it's the same day that she was getting her windows tinted. This guy got incarcerated, went back to jail. But they did track down this guy. They kind of talked to him. And, here he is. Here is his photo and also his charges. It was an 80-year-old woman. It's why he is a registered SO. This is one of his booking photos, and as you see, he is a registered and violent SO. He's 51 years old. And as you can see here, he is homeless, and his victim was an 80-year-old woman in Illinois. But it has been confirmed that Casey paid him $100 and told him that he didn't have an ID, and he needed to get a room for a couple of weeks for him and his wife. So this guy showed his ID and got him the room. But as you did see in the cam footage, the cop came out, ran the license plate at the car wash. They didn't find that it was stolen, so they left it. Even though the license plates came back as a Dodge in Tennessee, they still didn't find a problem for some reason. So the car wash owner had to have the vehicle towed off himself. Ironically, on Sunday, the marshals spotted the matching VIN numbers as they searched databases for the couple's getaway car, and they headed to Evansville. They looked at the footage with Casey and the pickup at the car wash, and then it did show the Cadillac, as you also seen. And it says leading task force investigators to drive around checking out motels and restaurant parking lots. An officer spotted the Cadillac in a parking lot at the motel, and ironically, this motel is directly across the road from the sheriff's department. What? I mean, that's what I'm saying. These two didn't plan for shit. I don't know how they was able to stay on the run as long as they were. It says they then began surveillance on the motel, and I don't know how long they were sitting there. It has not said yet, but they said that they seen him leaving, and Vicky was wearing a wig as a disguise. They got into the Cadillac and they drove away. They secretly told them, but when Casey and Vicky noticed that they were being followed, that's when they tried to run. But here's the thing. A lot of people says that they believe that's why they left the motel that day, is that they had seen that the car wash guy had kind of give them out, about the Cadillac and everything. I don't think so. I don't think they had any idea when they walked out of that motel room that day that they were already on them. I don't think they knew. I don't think they would have left had they known. I don't think they had a clue until they left, and one of them, because they were always looking over their shoulder, one of them noticed they were being followed. But no, I do not believe that they had any idea before they walked out of that motel and seen that they were being followed, that they had any idea where they were at. A lot of people was also curious if they found the money and all of the guns in the vehicle, and as you see here, they did. $29,000 in cash, 4 handguns, and the AR was in the Cadillac. They say that Casey told them that he was prepared to have a shootout with the police when he was captured. I have yet to hear him say that or see any proof that he actually said that. That is just what they said. So until we can actually see the interrogation or hear him saying it, then I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. It also says here that he was charged Tuesday with prison escape in the first degree, which I do find ironic, it being a first degree escape charge when the warrant they had already made out for him was second degree escape charge, because they already had Vicky and Casey's warrants made out. And just to clarify that, here are the actual warrants that were ready to be served on them. And this is Vicky's warrant, and hers was permitting and aiding escape in the first degree. This was done on the 29th day of April, okay? This is Casey's. Casey Cole White, escape in the second degree. And again, this was done April the 29th. So his warrant was for second degree escape, and he was charged for first degree escape. And as I told y'all in the beginning, this video is not going to be in order. I had so much saved and I didn't really know what I was going to put into it, but I do feel like I may have answered some questions, and hopefully you learned something new from the case listening to it. And it was some photos and also a video of someone that knows Casey and spent time with him that I thought was very interesting. But yeah, what you're looking at here is Casey's father. I believe his name is Ronald, if I'm not mistaken. And this is his mother, and her name is Connie. Casey, when he was 19 years old, on an arrest report. Some more random arrest reports from 2004, reckless endangerment, violation implied consent law, driving under the influence, striking an unattended vehicle. Not sure how old Casey is here. This was found on Ancestry.com. This is like from a school yearbook. Also from Ancestry.com, this is his mother. Not sure what year or how old she was. A high school yearbook. Now this was before they was caught. This guy knows Casey, and he goes on to talk about how he could be, he would know how to live off the grid and things of that nature. But I just think that they weren't very smart. And if the Sheriff Singleton thinks that this was a well planned out, thought out, I don't even know how you could think that. These guys did everything ridiculous. I mean, she got her jail worker at the very beginning. She got her jail worker to come and pick her up and take her to work. Obviously, seeing the Ford Edge, Casey freaks out. In my opinion, now this is my opinion, Casey freaks out, tries to paint that damaged part to it. He's like, we got to ditch this, getting on some back roads. They found this truck, and she's following him. The people that sells them the truck sees it. There's no plates on the truck, but somehow they pick up some Tennessee plates, and they put it on it, and then the police department, they don't even find that. I mean, this whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, honestly. And then you got the police office patting each other's back and saying the reason they were caught and apprehended so quickly was because they had boots on the ground. No, it's not. I mean, the car wash guy literally did this, and he is not even getting like any recognition like he should, except through, you know, random people like me and you on social media that continue to give him the credit, and we're the only ones that are really. Many people are still saying, where is the money they confiscated? What's going to happen to it? Well, I've already read it, but I don't have it handy right now, but I can tell you that they said that it would stay in the county for their man hours. You know, they had damage to vehicles, things like that, and apprehending them. So, you know, I guess they're keeping the money. I don't know what they're going to do with the weapons. I don't know what's going to become of the truck. Obviously, the Cadillac is totaled. The truck will probably just be one of those cop confiscated kind of things, and they'll just auction it off to the highest bidder. I don't know, but that's what I assume. But yeah, I mean, this is, I'm sure I've got a lot more things in here I could put here, but I mean, there's a lot here. So just take this for what you will. Maybe it can answer some of your questions. And this case has literally got my mind like scrambled eggs. I have stuff everywhere, and so I'm just putting this here, and so here is all this information. Do with it what you will. I'm sorry it's not in like chronicle order or anything like that. Gonna end this here, end it with this guy telling y'all a little bit about the case he knows, and he was also trying to help find him at this time. This is before they were captured, but
I grew up in Limestone County, Alabama. I'm very familiar with Casey White. I've met him outside in the public quite a few times. I spent quite a bit of time incarcerated in the same unit as him in Limestone County Jail. And I've got, let's just say, probably more people that I can list on my hands that know him personally or related to him in my immediate circle of people that I deal with every day. So we understand what the dude's capable of. He is very dangerous. He has no regard whatsoever for human life. He is very elusive. He can move very quickly for a man of his size, very quietly for a man of his size. I can verify that his reading and writing skills aren't that great. I remember him having kind of like a jail lawyer type of thing in Limestone County that would read all of his paperwork for him, write him letters, write his letters home. When we were incarcerated together at Limestone County Correctional Facility in Limestone County, Alabama, there was a point where he got racked down. Something had happened between him and two other inmates, and one of the inmates got attacked pretty violently. He came out of the room, blood all over his face, busted nose, teeth bleeding. I mean, just, they beat the crap out of that guy. And they ended up going to rack down him and another guy named Jason Rose, who also has a very troubled history with law enforcement. When they put him in rack down, they left him in the dorm that we were in, and I believe that we were in D7, in pod D7. And they racked him down on the bottom floor.
When you say racked him down, what does that mean?
So when you go to lockdown, so GP, general population inmates, they have a large day room with many cells in them, usually 12 or 24, and they can freely walk around and access any part of that day room. When you get on rack down, that's a disciplinary procedure. That's when they take you and put you in the cell. They lock you in there. You're not allowed out, but for 1 hour a day for exercise and showers. And the rest of the time you stay in there. You don't get any visitations. You can't buy anything off commissary or the store. You can't access vending machines or food items. So it's probably like one of the worst things. We call it going to jail in jail. So when they racked him down, within 24 hours, his behavior erratically shifted. He became very aggressive, kind of jerking, beating on the door, trying to get it to open, threatening corrections officers as they came through. And at some point, I remember they took him and placed him on suicide watch and took him out of the pod. We have an intercom system inside that jail in every cell where they can access the control room and talk to the COs or deputies at any time. And if I remember correctly, he pushed that button and told them if they didn't let him out, he was going to kill himself. And so they came in, they took all his stuff, bed sheets, everything. They put him in a Velcro canvas suit and took him out of the dorm. And that was the last that I saw of Casey White at that correctional facility. And it was not long after that he did his 2015 crime spree, where he killed that dog and held those two men hostage and tried to kill his ex-girlfriend. From a local standpoint, and I've had to elude police before. I grew up, I'm covered in tattoos, so you know what I'm saying, I've been to jail, I've done the thing, lived that life, turned it around, and now I want to see this guy brought to justice. So anything that I could do personally to help, I'm going to come out here and do. We've been out all day kind of looking for clues, trying to find the spray paint can. We've had drones up. We've been to Anderson Park in Anderson, Alabama. Next weekend we're scheduled to go to Natahala Reserve, the wildlife refuge. It's expansive, it's huge, that's where everybody goes. He knows of that place, so it's probably on their list, and I honestly believe regardless of what law enforcement is involved, if they make it to Nantahala, it'll be a year before we find them out there. He definitely has survival skills. He can live out here. He could walk right off this road into those woods and be okay, especially with the woman that he has with him and her knowledge of law enforcement and how it works. They could disappear very, very easily. And this could be one of those things where you're sitting at home in 15 years watching Unsolved Mysteries and be like, those are my neighbors.
Or they sleep, though, on the ground right now. I mean, they're roughing it. And like I said, Casey's a survivalist. This was his lifestyle. When he was out, they went camping a lot. They went caving a lot. And there's a potential, I mean, right now you're in a desperate situation. You have to ask yourself, what would I do? Because getting caught is not an option to them, because like I said, they're not going to give up. And even if she wants to give up, he's not going to let her. And if it comes to that, he'll take her as a hostage. So it's Casey wants to die.
The reason I actually put this part in here, and of course I redacted the guy's name, he says that he does know this guy, because there was some people saying, that guy don't know Casey, he's just trying to get 5 minutes of fame. And this is someone that actually works at the jail, and he says he absolutely does know him, and him and Casey did actually spend time together. Of course, he didn't say the guy's name, but he says this guy has really rose above who he used to be. So that is a good thing. But this guy does know Casey.